No, I haven't done a video for YouTube in a while. Done a few for TikTok, but I might put this one on there. But this is coming from the aspects of the dynamics of men and women in society and civilization, and I do think women need to have a lot more gratitude and respect and gratefulness for men, because I think without men we wouldn't have this way of life that now in this day and age women can work. Um, though I don't think that's their place. But also in the simple fact that still, even though that women can work and make money and be, the provider, 90 plus percent of the jobs that are done that keep this society going and running are done by men still. So you really, I mean, like, yeah, you can make your own money, but you're not really doing anything for society, not really. And there's a few women out there, I give you kudos for actually, keeping up with the men. But I just don't see the relevance to act like that 1 to 5% of women that are actually doing what men do takes away the fact that you women can't keep up in general. I mean, you can always find an outlier, um, between the men and women, but in general, no. I don't think it's a woman's role to, be in the military. I think that's men's role. I want chivalry to come back, but I want also women that deserve chivalry to come back. I want men to be allowed to be men. Men were not. The view that women have about men and patriarchy in history is a lie. 90 plus percent of it is a lie. It's just flat out fucking bullshit lies that have played on women's emotions. And men, and like, honestly, men allowed it. Like, I hold men, I hold women responsible for all the shit that's been going down, but I hold men at fault because we allowed it. Even in this day and age, we have been allowing women to just destroy everything with politics, with things we vote on, with abortions, with the LGB, with the view on marriage. I mean, everything. I mean, it's because we allowed women to vote. And the really pissed off is that we can see all this shit going down, and yet men are not just saying, okay, we've had enough, and just step in. Because, like, honestly, if men, that's what really irritates, because men could change shit. We could fix shit. And we could do it the way that we know that what needs to be done without, we don't need you women to fix this. Like, that's not, like, men don't particularly need women. Alright? That's another raw fact. I mean, I love my wife. And I just, and I enjoy my life with her. But men don't really need, we need you. I mean, it'd be nice, to have a wife to raise kids with, but we really just need you for to have kids. It's already been statistically proven that men are better parents. Now, I do think, I don't think men are designed to be around kids per se. Like 24, like women are supposed to, like women are. Like, I think women can be around kids, or at least non-broken women can actually be around kids without spazzing out. Men, I think men, the way I've described it and looked at it, like, I love my kids and all that, but like, I just don't think. I mean, if like something were to happen to her, I think that's when in a man's mind it just flips in. Like, I have to do this. Like, there's no, like, I have to do this. I have to be the, the mom and dad, no matter speaking. And in this, like, women like to say, like, I was mom and dad too. No, I mean, you can, like I said, you can find outliers in this, but in the grand scheme of things, no, majority of them are not mom and dad. You are a selfish bitch that wouldn't listen to your man, drove him insane till he left you, and now you want to talk shit about him to the kids and make his life living hell. You guys are being used by the court system. You're not winning in the court system. You're not. You women are not winning in the court system. Having a fight with the child's father and get money from him is not winning. Using him as a pawn is not winning. Like, you and him have problems. Cool, I get it. He sucks, you suck. That's cool. But, like, that is old news. especially if you guys are broken up. I'm sorry, both of you grow up. I mean, I'm not innocent. I played my hands in acting like a child, dealing with my exes and the mothers of my kids. But we need to grow the fuck up. Especially when it's ended. It's ended. Grow up. Wash your hands. Unfortunately, you guys have a kid. Now grow the fuck up even more. Raise that kid right. I mean, I don't have the best examples of the right things to do right now. I'm trying to learn that and understand, making the right choices. But I definitely know the wrong choices. I don't want him to make those, and if I have to use my mistakes to raise him the right way, that's what I'll use. I know the kind of man I wish I was, and I know the man I used to be, and what I could have been. And I am not letting my son get hit and stay down. That's that. I let life keep me down, and I can use that as an excuse. It's a pretty good one, but I can blame life for keeping me down, but I let it keep me down. It's the same thing with my ex and me dealing with CPS. I was doing drugs. I was being stupid. And she's the one that got CPS in our lives. By doing stupid shit. But I did even more stupid shit because I didn't stop. I was selfish. And that's the pound of flesh I owe my children. I put my selfish desires ahead of theirs. Even more as I gave myself to Christ, I found out how selfish I was. And as much as I didn't do anything to get CPS in our lives, I didn't do anything to get them out. Coming to terms with, the parts I played. I think I handled myself pretty well during the altercation with her, but I didn't handle myself how I should have. I might have not, acted, too crazy, but I shouldn't have been acting crazy. I put myself, ahead, and finding out, that, it was just as much as my fault for CPS getting in our lives. And I could spend all my time, like blaming her because it was mostly her fault, but it was still my fault. So whether or not, she was responsible for 80%, I was still responsible for 20%. And that's what made 100%. So I can, just be mad at that, but that blinds me from that 20% that I was responsible for. And that is something I have to deal with. Just watching all these videos, just watching the world fucking break and shatter. The bonds and the relationships and the marriages and the families and the communities and the circles and the friendships doesn't mean anything anymore. That's what we're saying when we choose ourselves, when we live the way that we've been living. We're saying that it doesn't matter. And that's something I've been coming to terms with. I just wish, the feminist movement is toxic. Patriarchy is not that bad. Now, men that follow patriarchy, they can be bad. But I don't believe the foundation of patriarchy is bad. People that have followed a patriarchy can come to twist it and interpret it wrong and use it for wrong. But patriarchy is not wrong. And I think we need to get back to the roots of traditional values. Like in this day and age, because I'm trying to work and figure out this world. Cause I want my daughters to be, wives and mothers, and they still are on a biological clock, so they can't play around in the sandbox of college and jobs for too long, anyways. But I definitely have a few different views on that. I might be okay with my daughters going to get like a college degree, so that way they have something to fall back on as emergency plan. But not in case their husbands leave, but in case their husband, that is the provider, gets hurt at work. That way they have something to fall back on. Because, this world, it's not like it used to be. And, like before, there was no real such thing as jobs. It was life. It was survival. We did shit to fucking survive. Then we became to have somewhat of a paycheck, to help, the world that we're building. That's the blood, sweat, and tears that men have put in. Some women, but it's primarily men building this society and the civilization, this way of life. And I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's not as bad as women have been lied to believe. And it's the same kind of aspects. If you take that kind of mindset about the blood, sweat, and tears that men put into to build this society and civilization. And honestly, men do it for women and children. But, we kind of do it for ourselves, but not really. And I don't think it's fully the same way, but I think that's the kind of blood, sweat, and tears women need to start looking at giving birth to children. Because you women are killing more kids than having. You guys are bitching and moaning and whining about wanting a husband online when you're in your 30s and can not give him any kids, really. Or maybe one or two if he's lucky. And it's sad. This world is sad. Oh. You can make, and if you can find somebody that you can, make a plan with, and it works, then cool. Especially in this day and age. Women don't, we're not in hunter-gatherer, we're not in, it's so, there are so, it's so, this world, this age, it's so easy. 21st century is so fucking easy. We have jobs for just about anything. Honestly. You can go get paid $30 an hour to just sit there and play video games. And then tell these people what you think about them. Skateboarders are getting major contracts. It used to be baseball, basketball, and football and hockey, sports. But, now you got people that are doing skateboarding and parkour. Making money. That is just... and honestly, if the artists and writers from back in the day could see us now, the movie directors from back then could see how the movies now. Honestly, and I think the movies back then, they had a lot more heart. Not much in special effects, but they made up with it with emotion and heart and passion. That's one of the sad things about, in this day and age, the movies that we watch and make. It's really fucked up that in movies, comic books, cartoons, prison, almost pretty much. Maybe not to get there, but we have better morals in aspects in movies and cartoons and kind of prison. Prison, they have swift, biblical, brimstone and fire, judgment for the worst of the worst. Pedos and grapos and people that hurt children and women. They don't have a very fun time in prison. They might not have made the smartest choices to get there, but at least they got that one straight. And all these movies, we can act... I wish we can act like how we act in the movies. We work together, we fucking handle shit. But that's movie land, I guess. Everything's just perfect. I guess in some aspects it's, we're in our own 21st century Garden of Eden. The only, this time fruit is sin. It's all over the place. At least back in the Garden of Eden, sin was contained in one place. All you have to do is not avoid that one place, that tree. Leave that tree alone. That one tree. Leave it the fuck alone. But no, we couldn't. Now we got trees of sin everywhere. Porn on the internet. We can do great shit with this social media. But we don't. We don't. I mean, social media, we can do great shit, technology. I mean, why are we fighting? I really wish I was. I mean, that would be the first thing I'd be doing. I would be, like, if I was president, it's the first thing I'd be doing is gathering all the heads of state, and I would try to work at a peace, like a NATO aspects peace treaty with everybody. Like, I'm tired. I am so tired. I mean, you're never gonna get rid of evil and violence 100%. But can you imagine the great things that we could do if we just combine all of our resources together, all of our technology together? If we stop looking at each other as an enemy, we're fighting with each other. That's another thing in Star Trek, Star Wars. Yeah, okay, you're fighting with humans too, and those, but you're fighting with other people. And I mean, honestly, in Star Trek, I mean, they've come together. Like, and we're just dealing with our own race, the human race. Like, just think of all the cultures and all the paintings and all the history that that we could combine together. What we could do if we actually just took our heads out of our ass. But, I mean, I'm sorry. We need to return back to the patriarchy. We need to return back to the Bible. Men need to lead. Women need to follow. I know you 21st century modern day women don't like to hear that, but yeah. Like, I'm sorry, like, men, I think you women were great women when you followed good men. Alright? And good men became great when they had a purpose to follow and a woman that followed them. And we were fantastic and amazing when we followed God. And now look at it. Look at the world we're in. This is the world we made. But yeah, I'm going to end it there.